Good morning. Your host Isaac Reznick, slightly overcast in Johannesburg, but sit back, relax and enjoy. Of course, if you're in the kitchen preparing for Shabbat, baking those challahs, kitkers, making a chaunt, whatever it is, please relax and listen very carefully. We have a wonderful guest in the studio this morning. We have Rabbi Shaun Wingrin, who is going to talk all about Bobbas and Zeidas, and he'll explain why in a few moments. But before we get on to that, I want to give you a little brief history about the aged in Johannesburg, how long it goes back. You remember it used to be called the Witwatersrand, a Jewish aged home. It was started in the 1930s. The first building was in St. Augustine Street in the Doornfontein. I'm sure many of you remember. It's just right next to the what we used to call the Harrow Road Highway Bridge, and today it's now the Joe Slover. The building was paid for, the home was paid for by a very, very famous industrialist, entrepreneurist, who came to South Africa with 2 and 6pence in his pocket. And he built up a magnificent empire. He built the African Consolidated Films, the African Consolidated Theatres. He built the Empire Cinema, the Colosseum, His Majesty's. Remember in Killarney where he had the film studios. And his son, at the age of 9, opened this home, as it was called, the Witwatersrand Jewish Old Home, under the auspices of the Johannesburg Jewish Helping Hand, the Chevra Kadisha. Now, the first incumbent rabbi there was a Rabbi Greenberg. I'm sure many of you will not remember that because this is going back 70, 80 years ago. And they were there for many, many years, and then eventually they moved to their magnificent premises in Sandringham, which was opened in 1954. It's built in the shape of a Magen David. If you fly over by plane or helicopter, you can see it. There has been a few additions, grown into one of the biggest and the finest institutions in the world. And everybody who's been there will vouch for that. Now, Shaun, welcome this morning.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you in the studio. And you just tell us all about your little project and how it complements with the Sandringham Gardens today. And of course, there's also our parents' home, which I must mention as well, which was formed in the 1940s by the German Jewish community. But that's for another time. So over to you, Shaun.
Thank you so much, Isaac. It's a privilege to be on the show with you. And just a little project, I wish it was. This, I believe, is the next phase in the care for our golden oldies, and a huge, huge undertaking. And we need many more of these philanthropists that you refer back to get involved. Anyone driving out there, please, you're welcome to SMS or phone in if that's the area that you're involved in. But the background. I hail from Pretoria and finding myself on the what we call the western side of the N2 highway, a beautiful space around Melrose Arch extending all the way to the far west of Johannesburg with beautiful trees, is perhaps why I settled there, coming from the jacaranda-filled city of Pretoria. And having studied at yeshiva, in fact, I have to mention, because we just had the Chief Rabbi's wonderful Shabbos Grosha, and I had the privilege of studying under him at the Yeshiva Gedola, and he certainly, it was an inspiration on the way here to help me actually prepare for what we are hoping to speak about. Thank you to him. And a big yasher kochacha to him and his Rebbetzin and the entire family for the incredible input that they and contribution that they are making for our wonderful, beautiful South African Jewish community and South Africa in general. But that is a background. Living on this side of Johannesburg, the western side, we noticed a great shortage in Torah learning. And in this regard, we created the Shira on Sally's Beit Midrash. Now, I'm telling you this as background, as how we got involved with Bobbas and Zeidas. About 3 years ago, the Chief Rabbi, 3.5 years ago now, launched the incredible project, Sinai in Darba. Unbelievable mammoth task that he undertook and a tremendous boost for our community. And I saw that this is a wonderful opportunity to make a small contribution from our area by bringing a bus load of people from our area, from our shuls, to join the Sinai in Darba. With that concept in mind, I mentioned to Rabbi Shaul Bacher, who happens to be the rabbi of Chabad of Melrose, a small little shul in a block of flats, probably a unique shul, probably the only shul of its kind, founded by actually a man in a wheelchair, Mr. Ian Radis, with tremendous energy. And he said to me, bring the residents of the retirement home just up the road. And I thought, wow, that's an interesting idea. A lot of people over there. In fact, there's over 80 Jewish people that are living there. And with that, I approached the management. They were all for it. But when I brought the idea to the chief rabbi, and myself never having worked with retirees, with Bobbas and Zeidas, he explained to bring them to the Stanton Convention Center is going to be very, very technically difficult, and it's going to be very overwhelming for people with walkers and in wheelchairs. And we left that project. But we had an opportunity to start saying Kiddush for the residents at Pembury. I discovered Friday nights they have no one to say Kiddush. A packed dining room, and there's no one to say Kiddush. We organized saying Kiddush once a week in a small Devar Torah, and now we have several volunteers who come every Friday night to say Kiddush for these residents. I realized that they're not alone. I have visited 4 homes, and across these 4 homes I've discovered that there's approximately 200 Jews who are living in these private retirement homes and have no option to kosher food. And with that, we launched Bobbas and Zeidas Jewish Retirement Survey.
And you're quite right, Shaun. There must be, not you say 200, there must be many, many out there.
I'm aware of 200
aware of the 200.
Across 4 homes.
Yes, that's 4 homes.
And what I think, what you're saying, I've tried, and I wish we can only manage 1 home to do Kiddush for them. The other 3 homes that I'm aware of do not have Kiddush.
Yes.
If there's anyone out there who would like to assist with making Kiddush for them on a Friday night, maybe giving a small Devar Torah, please be in touch. I wish to create a task team of people who are passionate about our golden oldies with an ability to help them, to uplift them emotionally and provide spiritual support as far as we can.
I know the ones.
I think they don't have a communal dining room. And our real focus is on homes which have got full board, where you have a communal dining room. Yes, there are plenty of places where you've got self-cater, and there you can obviously keep kosher. But when it comes to full board, there is unfortunately no option to my knowledge. I'd love to know if there is, because there's many people who had kosher homes. In fact, I can read you a wonderful email I received. I'll keep the lady's name private, because I haven't asked if I can give it over the air. And she writes, there is a tremendous need for a home. I have so many friends living in one of these private retirement homes, and such homes who have kept kosher all their lives, and at this stage of their lives, there is no kosher place to go to. She says you'll be well supported. Please God, we need everyone's support in this regard. I believe we're entering a new phase of private retirement. Till now, Baruch Hashem, we've had incredible input from our Chevra Kadisha with their various retirement old-aged homes, which run under the wonderful institution of the Chevra Kadisha. At the same time, in the past couple of years, I'm not exactly sure of the details, 20, 30 years, private retirement homes have sprung up, because Baruch Hashem, our community has become more affluent, and there are many, many Jews who are able to afford the extra expenses to retire in the comforts that these private homes offer. And they are living in many of these homes. But unfortunately, the owners of these homes do not appreciate the need for kosher food and spiritual upliftment for our wonderful Jewish community. We are taught by the Torah in Vayikra, in the book of Leviticus, in the parasha, beautiful parasha, Kedoshim Tiyu, we shall be holy, in chapter 19, verse 32. Mipnei sevatakum v'ardarta pnei zakein v'yaresa melakecha ani Hashem, which translates, before an old person you shall get up and honor the face of the old and fear Hashem. Us as Jews have a special injunction to give honor to our golden oldies, and in that way to be a light unto the nations and to behave in the way that Hashem wants us to our fellow human beings, and especially to our fellow golden oldies.
You know, our Bobbas and Zeidas, they came from whether it was Europe, Lithuania, or Latvia, or Poland, wherever they came, Germany as well. They came with a different type of culture, and we owe it to them. I think this Jewish community owes it to them to give them a retirement which is befitting for them, because they worked all their lives to bring up their children and their grandchildren. Today it's a different generation. They used to work, I would literally say 15, 16 hours a day. And some of them built up empires as well, and it's all taken for granted. Now, Shaun, just carry on and tell us a little bit more about your survey and how you want to go about this type of thing.
Bobbas and Zeidas. We've called it Bobbas and Zeidas. Why? Because as we mentioned in this passage from the Torah, this verse from the Torah, we have a special injunction, a special obligation to honor the face of the old. And nothing like the Yiddish saying, for me, encapsulates the graciousness and the respect that our golden oldies deserve, like the phrase Bobbas and Zeidas. And even those who may not have merited to be a Bobba with children, or a Zeida with children or grandchildren, rather, in fact, Bobba and Zeida is when you have grandchildren, still the title applies. Anyone, in my opinion, who's over the age of 70, a Seva, deserves to be called a Bobba or a Zeida. Why? They have been through the experiences of life. They have seen wars. They have seen miracles. They have seen difficulties. And now, Baruch Hashem, they are seeing good times in our wonderful country. And as Isaac mentioned, we have, as you say, Isaac, this obligation to try and assist them with a retirement that is befitting to them. And perhaps in this regard, just to throw out, to create a trust fund specifically for those who find themselves in private retirement because they could afford it and now are unable to continue to support themselves, or because they were living on a standard of living which would surely entitle them to continue that in their old age, which they would surely deserve to have. And this trust fund could help to support them in that environment. But we do not know the facts. We do not know how many Jews are out there living in these type of private retirement homes who have no facilities around kashrut and around synagogue services to help them in that regard. And in that light, I brainstormed this idea of creating a survey. It is a simple, short survey. It's available online. It's available via email, via post, or even this survey is available at www.bobbasandZeidas.co.za. Bobbas is spelled with two B's, B-O-B-B-A-S-A-N-D, Zeidas, Z-A-I-D-A-S.co.za. It's all one word. Please type it into your web browser and go and have a look. It is not only for our golden oldies to complete. As someone mentioned to me yesterday, we should plan for our future, and that is what the survey is about, to plan for our future. It can take years to build a retirement home from scratch. There are, Baruch Hashem, places that are available that can be converted in a space of 2 to 3 months, if there is enough need and if there is enough support, not only from the community out there, which from the answers from our survey and results, we've had many people saying that it's very necessary, it is important, it will be well received, but also from those who can make it happen, from our young, middle-aged and older entrepreneurs in our wonderful Jewish South Africa who are able to get involved in this private type of retirement venture. But in order to be successful and in order to really be able to convey what our sages want us to tackle, the mitnei seva takum, honor the face of the old, the hadar b'nei zakain, give respect to them. We need to learn from what's being done overseas, from what's being done in our wonderful Eretz Israel, who I have no doubt are world leaders in this regard, and bring the best. to our wonderful Jewish South Africa, to build a home par excellence and to give our wonderful Jewish South African community, an entire community, the opportunity to retire in style the Jewish way.
And you know, just to continue what Shaun is saying, this complements the Sandringham Gardens.
Very much
complements the our parents' home. A lot of the aged out there don't want to. It's not because they're against it. Go to the Sandringham or our parents because they feel it's like an institution, and they want to be free and independent, which you still can be at Sandringham. Sure. But they want their own
and
standard
I think more
of
than
living.
that, they want to
They want their own
standard of living.
Their own standard of living. And I also want to quote, you've quoted this here, but you know, on a fast day we say the Shema Koleinu, and there's that famous saying, Al tashlichaynu le'edzikna, do not cast me off in my old age. And this does apply to even those who can afford it, to not to just to cast them off. And many years ago, there was a monument outside in Sandringham Gardens with a man tearing kriya. It's been removed now, and I don't want to go into that because we've discussed it many times. But there was a saying at the bottom, a plaque. I don't know where that plaque's gone to, but the actual monument is now in Cape Town. It was done by Herman Vold. And the quotation went as follows: "Remember man, as I am now, so you will be. As you are now, so once was I. Therefore, do not mock me, rather come and succor me." SUCCOUR. In other words, I was also young many years ago. You will be old as I am today. So don't laugh and don't mock me, but just come and give me that support. Give me that encouragement. Give me that confidence. This is what it's all about.
Especially, so I can comment on that point. We're not actually looking at replacing anything there is. We are looking at creating something totally new to replace what there isn't. Out of the Sandringham Gardens Golden Acres complex, there are numerous retirement homes which are privately funded, and they are taking our hard-earned earnings into their structures. These funds could very well be partially directed into the existing structures, but the facilities need to be created. And in addition to that, the community, Baruch Hashem, has grown tremendously, and the more that there is available, we will take the load off the existing communal structures by providing alternatives to people where the community is no longer forced to provide totally subsidized accommodation for our wonderful golden oldies.
As Rabbi Wingrin explained, this is going to complement the Sandringham Gardens and our parents' home, because there's a lot of Bobbas and Zeidas out there who do not want to go into a home such as Sandringham or our parents' home, and they are and can afford to pay extra. And if we establish something like this, then the excess funds will go towards Sandringham and to our parents' home. And also, we must mention that these private homes, I don't want to mention them, you know where they are in the northern suburbs, one thing and another. They are owned by individuals, and the coffers, all the money is going to these individuals. It's not going to the Jews.
To emphasize what you're saying, that it's really, we at the new stage, at the next stage of building our Jewish retirement, to actually reach out to those hundreds of Jews that find themselves without any Jewish infrastructure surrounding them, who are living in these homes, and for them to come under the fold, so to speak, and to support our wonderful Jewish community. And therefore, this is a communal project, and it requires, I believe, many people's input. And in this regard, anyone out there, we are trying to create a task team of capable, passionate individuals who wish to make a difference in this regard, and to meet together and to work under our existing communal structures to address the problem and to spearhead the creation of these private retirement homes under the auspices of our wonderful community. And while I say homes, there is, I believe, a great need to have homes placed in various parts of Johannesburg. It's a big area. We cannot concentrate them all in one side. At the moment, there are no communal homes or homes where you can get kosher food on the western side of the M2 highway. It's a vast expanse of land where many thousands of our Jewish community live, and many of them are retirees. And that's why the private retirement homes are so successful in those areas, because there are so many golden oldies who are living in that part of Johannesburg. And the need is therefore to create more than one home in various places, and also to cater to various income brackets according to each person's retirement standards, in order to accommodate them in the best possible way, and to help people live longer, to live more fulfilled lives, and to give more exposure to our younger generation, to these people. Many of these retirees are almost forgotten in these retirement homes. I myself had never ever been into this retirement home in the same block as my little shul until I went in because of Rabbi Shaul's idea to bring a bus for them. And then I went in and I discovered a wonderful looking place, but bereft of emotional support and spiritual upliftment. And it's such a great need. Now coming to Purim, we are just around the 35, 36 days or so to Purim. This year we have a bumper Adar, with 2 Adar give Mishloach Manot, gifts on Purim Day to these Jews who are living in these retirement homes where they have no input from the general community, no support. Their children come, give beautiful Mishloach Manot on Purim. If anyone has any ideas in this regard, I'm able to facilitate the arrangements, but it takes a number of people to create the project. I would be very glad to get involved in that and to bring some emotional support and spiritual upliftment to these many Jews who are living in these private retirement homes. And please, if you know of anyone, direct them to www.bobbasandZeidas.co.za to complete the survey, where the survey will be armed with the information that we need in order to inspire those who are able to help this desperate need and provide retire in style, the Jewish way, to our wonderful golden oldies.
But you mentioned about the Shalach Manot, sending the Bobbas and Zeidas Shalach Manot on Purim. Those who are living in retirement, non-Jewish retirement homes. And I want to mention also, because I have some friends in one of the homes, and when it comes to Pesach, some of them don't get invited out by their families, maybe overseas or for whatever reason. They are told, right, matzah will be on the table, but the rest of the meal is completely treif, and they don't have a proper Seder. There's no one to make the kiddush, no one to read the Haggadah to them. So I think this is something that has to be addressed. I know this for a fact. And of course, you must also realize a lot of the Bobbas are living, the husbands have passed, the Zeidas have passed away, and they've been left well, they are wealthy, let's put it this way. They've been left comfortable, and they are living in these homes all alone, and their children are all overseas, or they may have 1 or 2 living here or grandchildren. So I want to appeal to you, please, let's try and do something. And I know there's the Golden Acres and Sandringham and up, they do magnificent work, but this will complement. I want to thank Rabbi Shaun Wingrin for coming into the studio. It's been a pleasure having you, Shaun, and I'm sure we're going to have a very, very positive response to your appeal.
Thank you, and please God, this should be the starting. We only have, and we've worked out, just over 3 weeks actually to Purim. Anyone out there wishes to get involved in organizing Mishloach Manot for these homes, please be in touch with me, or more importantly, to help build one of these homes or many for our wonderful golden oldies. I wish everyone a good Shabbos, and thank you for having me on the show, Isaac.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.